Sometimes in the midst of conflict, we will start guessing at the motivations of the person or people with whom we are experiencing conflict. This could be a coworker, could be a friend, could be somebody we go to church with, or a neighbor, could be a sibling, and they will have done or said something to upset us. And we will start to think to ourselves, they are just such an angry person. They must be carrying a lot of bitterness. Maybe they're very passive aggressive, and that's why they said that, or didn't say something. Maybe they didn't invite us to an event, and therefore that must mean that they hate us. They don't want to see us, don't want to spend time with us. Maybe they didn't give us credit for an idea. That must mean they're trying to stab us in the back. And I'm in the midst of a conflict of this sort of shape right now. And I was reflecting on my own reaction to this conflict because it's not what I would expect. It's not what it would have been years ago. My reaction is mostly one of, I'm not making assumptions about what they're feeling. And as I'm reflecting on why I'm not making assumptions, the litany in my head, the thought progression is one of, what good does it do to assume the state of their heart or to assume their motivations and perhaps the anger or bitterness or spitefulness or whatever else? If I assume that they are acting out of an anger towards me, does that help me to be more kind towards them? Does it help me to be more generous? Does it help me to love them more and to pursue reconciliation? Or perhaps, as is often the case in my experience, reconciliation isn't actually necessary because many slights are imagined. They're things that we think this person is upset with us or has done something. And the reality is they are carrying their own burdens. They have their own challenges. They weren't thinking about us as deeply as we were thinking about ourselves. Human beings are very complex, and we do not know people's hearts. So I find, and again, different from how I used to be, it's a pleasant surprise. I find I would prefer to think of and treat people with kindness, to extend grace to them, to show them love. And this doesn't happen just through a decision to do that. There is an element of a decision in this, but it happens because of how I choose to think about them. At sort of worst, I just won't think anything. I'm not going to make a guess about the state of their being. But I want to give people the benefit of the doubt. And even if it's naive and foolish, I would rather live a life where I treat people with grace and kindness and love. I guess in some ways you might see it somewhat selfish, but it makes me happier to live that way, to think of people that way. And I've also found, as I treat people in that way, they do become more pleasant and positive. So, if you are in the midst of conflict with someone, doesn't matter who, doesn't matter what about, what I want to encourage you to do is to not make any assumptions about why they are behaving as they are doing, or why they have said what they've said. Think through the reasons why it might have happened that are justified, the traumas they might have experienced, the burdens that they might be carrying, the hopes and expectations they might have that are not being met or are being dashed. And try to just extend love to them, to be kind, to be gracious. I think that you will find that you, in turn, will experience less stress, and you will be better positioned, if not to resolve the conflict, though I think that does happen. You'll at least sleep better at night, and you will have better relationships with everyone else around you when you adopt this posture of just choosing to believe the best in people, or at the very least, choosing to not believe the worst of them.